It was the last day of Video Game Design 2 class. We needed more creative directors for production class next semester, so we volunteered Maddie. We then started brainstorming ideas for the next best game Webster has ever made. We threw our ideas up on the board, ideas like, it needs explosions, it needs to feel arcadey, it needs to have sports game characteristics. Thus, our game was born. We codenamed it Deathsports. For the next month, Maddie became the lo-fi girl on 5x speed writing the game design document. This game was becoming so epic, so amazing, so legendary, we needed a co-creative director, Lane. The first day of production class came around, and I was tasked with programming the baseball game. Here's how it went. My first task was to make a rough prototype of swinging the bat. So, as all good Unity games start, I added in a beam for the player. Then I added the baseball bat, but Joe Baseball had no way to actually hold the bat. It was just floating there. So I added flippers so he could hold the bat. He still wasn't representing a baseball player too well, so I gave him some style. I also added in a tee for Joe Baseball to hit a ball off of. I needed a rotate player script. As you can tell in my notes, I don't know how this works, but it does. So that is done and dusted. But I still can't hit the baseball. I'm not a genius at how baseball works, but I'm pretty sure when the bat hits the ball, it's supposed to not go through it. This was a super easy fix. Only a couple lines of code, and voila, I can hit the ball. As of right now, this game is boring though. Joe Baseball can only hit one ball, and there's no one to aim at.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, so now I have balls spawning on the tee. Joe Baseball might get a little dizzy hitting them, but he can hit as many red baseballs as he wants now. Next is adding in outfielder Joe Baseballs. That was easy. Just copy the main Joe Baseball, change the outfielder's colors so you know they are on a different team, then have them move to random spots. Another big feature of baseball is the power meter. I'll add that in the canvas so it looks like it does something. Alright, there we go. I'm just kidding. For now, as the power meter increases, the ball will go more forward. I made this handy dandy target to show how it works. No power doesn't hit the target, full power hits the target. Joe Baseball still can't aim at the outfielders, but that'll come later. Now I need to add the baseball field. This flat terrain piece isn't good enough. Mark made this really awesome 3D model of the baseball field. I threw that in real quick, and it added a lot. I also reset the position of Joe Baseball so he wouldn't get dizzy spinning in a circle. I then added in the crowd. We all took two pictures, a celebrate picture and a normal picture. Matt wrote a quick script that flips between them so it looks like we are cheering for the batter. Now the baseball game finally has some life. I also added in the Easter egg picture from Axe Soldier in the ad spot. I then added a pitcher because this is baseball, not t-ball. You know who the pitcher is because he looks like the other enemies, but with flippers, so he can throw the ball. I wrote a script to have the pitcher, pitch. Now, upgrading from t-ball to baseball was a bit too much of a jump for me. I couldn't hit the baseball if my life depended on it, so I added in a cheater bat. And what do you know? I'm amazing now. You might also notice Joe Baseball has a hat on now. Evan made this cool hat, so I slapped it on Joe Baseball. It's also sideways because he's too cool for school. Okay, I've been procrastinating on hitting enemies. It's time to actually start on that. This one was too complicated for me to figure out by myself. I needed help from the big guns. The one, the only Matt, my teacher. We wrote a script with so much complicated math in it that NASA will be using our script for reference on the next rocket they launch. I'm telling you, we used derivatives, we used multiple letters instead of numbers, we made sure the logarithm slope field integral was equal to the continuous velocity of the chain rule. So NASA, if you're watching this and are willing to offer a good salary, hit Matt and I up. After all that, Joe Baseball can now hit the outfield. Alright, perfect. Next, it is finally time to retire Bean Joe Baseball. It's time for human Joe Baseball and a real baseball bat versus a brown stick. Mark made all the Joe Baseball animations, and Evan made the bat. I plopped them into baseball and set them up. This game is really starting to look alive now. You'll also notice that the outfielders explode with the cartoony look when hit. Alexis even added in these really cool words to make the explosion at least 1 billion trillion times better. I also added in a people hit and pitches thrown counter. That way players can see how bad they are doing. I added some colors to the baseball field and adjusted the crowd so it looked a little more random. I was still missing a few things though. The camera needed to follow the ball after Joe Baseball hit it, and the baseball is not actually a baseball, but a baseball bomb. I made a script that follows the ball. It kind of worked. Matt told me to try using a Unity plugin, Cinemachine, and linked me a video. That put my code to shame and was much easier to use. Evan also made an awesome baseball bomb. I added particles so it looked like it was lit and added a little bit of spiral because this looks weird. The team also wanted to show off all our previous games we made, so the billboard is actually games people can play on itch.io. All of them can be found on Webster Game Design's page. Throughout all of this, our team's sound guys, Justin and Charles, have been making some awesome sounds and recording teammates saying various stuff. They added in the sounds, so now the baseball game is complete. I also want to say good job to Dean, Dorian, and Nam. They didn't necessarily work very much on the baseball game, but they absolutely killed it on our other two games. With all that, here's baseball and Deathsports.
That's a home run in my book. What a swing! What a swing! You're making great headway. A base in the hole.